It's the weekly show about ProAV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Good morning, Steph. How are you?
I'm good, Gary. How are you? You're in a different spot this week.
Yeah, I'm in a random conference room.
Yeah, I've done that before. No, yeah, great. Well, how are you?
I got a little bit of a cold, actually. So my voice probably sounds a little bit weird, but it's yeah, I went to urgent care because I was concerned, because I had all the surgery and stuff. The doctor, my cardiologist, sent me to urgent care to get a chest x-ray just to make sure, and everything was good. But it was weird. The lady at I have cardiac rehab every Monday, Wednesday, Friday in like 7 in the morning. And I thought I was going to skip today, but the lady at urgent care was like, "You're not contagious." I'm like, "Okay, how do you know that?" She goes, "Because the virus that you have would have been contagious before you knew you had it." I was like, that's an interesting kind of concept, to know that you're most contagious when you don't know that you have something. You know what I mean?
That's kind of true, I think. Usually by the time that we get colds and are sneezing and stuff, we've already passed it to the people we're going to pass it to. So, yeah.
Sorry about that. So I might cough a little bit.
That's okay.
Yeah, I want to talk about something today. I was driving I listen to NPR every morning.
Right.
And you interned there, I think, if I remember correctly. Did something
for Birmingham's NPR arm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's basically how NPR runs, right? I mean, they're all affiliates. But they were talking about how AI has destroyed web browsing, and they were giving some statistics about it, about how people used to, there was a whole industry around search engine optimization, around, making sure that your search, was in the top 3 and you were found. And what's happening now, because Google and others have added AI answers, the number of people that are using the AI answers that aren't AI users is staggering. It's like greater than 90%. So this sort of changes everything, right? Because it used to be like you would find a result and you'd click on it, and that would click over to the website that owned the content. But now you're getting the content without clicking over to the website. So it begs the question, and this is sort of an interesting thing for our industry to think about, sort of like the long-term effects of what's happening in the short term, in the sense that at what point in time do we no longer use the internet, right? And what happens to the internet that's sort of just hanging out there? I mean, we're using the internet because everything's connected. Like even what we're doing here today, streaming, rAVe TV is using the internet. So that's not what I mean, but I mean, from content standpoint, it makes you really kind of think about sort of like how quickly things are changing there. Because the owner of the content may or may not be getting any credit for that, because it's being served up as a flat search result. It's interesting, isn't it?
That's really, I don't know. I haven't thought about that. And I don't know. AI is messing up everything. It's making things easier, but it's also making things terrible at the same time.
I mean, I think that the fact of the matter is there's some regulation that probably needs to happen, right?
For sure.
To protect some industries, but the cat's out of the bag, for lack of a better term, where you already have everything happening that's going to happen. And it's happening so rapidly. So, search engine optimization has sort of gone away, right? But the real thing is, do you even go to websites anymore? And if people stop going to websites, then they'll stop putting content on the website. If they stop putting content on the website, then the AI has nothing to crawl.
And so then it's just going to...
The results are up to date as of 2025 and 2027, right? So it's an interesting concept.
With the way a lot of the models are built now, they will literally just make stuff up based on what's available. So
it's calculating an answer when you're asking it to solve a problem. And a lot of times, as using, I think what you're alluding to, a lot of times the information will be not 100% accurate. Right? But at the same time, what the NPR report talked about is, but so is the stuff on the website not always accurate. Like, in other words, you're dealing with the same problem anyway. In the early days of the internet, this is before you were using the internet stuff. people were like, that's not reliable. You got to use the encyclopedia because the encyclopedia is referenced and double checked and triple checked. Well, then Wikipedia said, well, wait a minute. When we publish stuff, it's been checked by 8 people. So we're pretty accurate when it comes to stuff like that. So, it's kind of the same argument. By the way, OpenAI launched a web browser today. So that sort of changes everything too. So when you have the AI engine providing a browser, I don't even know that Google even exists anymore.
Right. Well, that's what people use ChatGPT for most frequently, is they use it as a replacement for Google. Like, how do I do this? You go to ChatGPT now instead of Google now. I feel like it's a lot easier to format your questions, because I had to take a whole class in 5th grade about how to ask Google questions to get the best result, and like how to format that, when to use a plus sign versus when to use this. And like, you don't have to do that anymore.
Correct. Yeah. I remember those days. You had to put like weird marks in and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But the same thing exists here that existed with Google and still exists with Google, is like, it's not going to be completely accurate information all the time. So you always have to like check the answer with like other things that are reputable sources. So,
but what's interesting is this, I think that when you kind of think about it deeply, Paul would be a good person to kind of get we're going to have Paul Konikowski on today.
Yeah.
Good to get his perspective on this, because he's a cybersecurity expert, among other things. But when you kind of look at it deeply, this might be the reason why our video views are up so much compared to past years, because I think a lot of people are Googling a product and then they're searching a product and they're watching the video instead of reading about it, because it's easier. It's sort of like, when I want to learn how to do something, I'm just typing in how to video, and then I put in what I want to learn how to do. I did it the other day. I just did it yesterday. I was learning something yesterday. I can't remember what it was. I know what it was, Steph. This is a new razor I bought, and I couldn't figure out how to use the thing. And I started looking for videos, and the video of a user using it was better than the video that the company had, right? But at least it found that video, right? And sort of all this sort of the trickle down effect of all this changes, because if you're a manufacturer and you're publishing information about your product, and right now you have a whole team of people that are working on publishing that information on a website, I don't know that you have to look at things differently. You have to look at like, okay, it's going to be found today that way, but how's the same information going to be found next year?
Yeah, that's fair. I will also say that I've been testing this. If you are on ChatGPT and you look up some products that came out recently in the AV world, like our videos from Infocom are the thing that ChatGPT gives you. It'll be like, here's this product, here's a video about it, watch it. And I'm like, hey, thanks. I put that up there though.
The sheer number of users we have on YouTube, right? I mean, the number of members we have, and I think part of it's that, but I also think part of it is, people like Jeff who've helped us do a better job at getting video content up and SEO'd right. Now I don't know if that's the right term, like marked correctly and so
search engine optimized,
and I think a lot of that's going to change, but anyway, I'd love to get other people's feet. Like, how is AI? I guess the question of the day. And if you want to, if you're on any of the socials and you want to comment, that comment will come to us.
Yeah.
How are you using AI today outside of just typing in looking for answers? Like, what are you using, and sort of what do you see as sort of the golden ticket for our industry? There's a lot of AI out there. I think, I was talking to integrators at the show that are using AI to generate proposals now. They're using AI to make sure products work together. That's kind of boring AI. That's the stuff that, of course, we're going to use it for.
But it's like stuff that makes people's jobs actually easier, and stuff that used to take them an hour now takes them 30 seconds to build, like it's helpful, but it's not like the sexy version of AI.
Yeah. So I'm curious about the sexy version.
Okay. So AI, sexy version, everyone watching or listening, not machine learning. Thank you.
There you go. All right. So what about this month's temperature check?
All right, yeah, I wanted to remind everybody, if you're out there, please fill out our temperature check survey. I ask these questions, not the same questions, but I ask a series of questions every month. This month's theme is immersive experiences. This is based off of like what I saw at InfoComm. Immersive is like a word that people are throwing around a lot nowadays. So I'm interested to see how that is affecting you and your role. It's 3 questions, takes about 2 minutes to fill out, and we will send out 2 $50 Amazon gift cards to 2 random respondents. So
excellent.
Pretty good deal, if you ask me.
All right, right now we have 2 sponsors of rAVe TV, and that's what makes it where we can bring it to you live every Wednesday and restreamed every Wednesday at noon. Live at 9 a.m. Our show comes on live at 9 a.m. at ravepubs.com, on Twitter, on Facebook, on I don't think Instagram, but on LinkedIn as well. And so to do that, we have to have sponsors. And one of those sponsors is Crestron.
Yes.
And they put together a really cool video on what their mission is and sort of what they're focused on going forward. You know, every company evolves every decade for sure, and sometimes more often than that. So this video kind of gives you a look at what they're thinking.
Our mission at Crestron is simple: enable exceptional customer experiences through technology.
Just simply describing controls and audio-video technology really doesn't help people grasp the full extent of what we do.
We take all the different pieces of hardware that you have in your business or your house, and we bring all of that together into one solution.
Whether that's in your home, making it easier to just live through simple automation, or in businesses empowering employees to do more.
Crestron makes the best technology to enable people to share information and entertainment, to connect and collaborate, whether they're in person or remote, and to make any space super simple and easy to use.
Systems and solutions that people can rely on. That's our advantage. That's our difference. That's what it means to be true blue.
Okay, Gary and I teased on that we had a guest today, so let's go ahead and bring him on. Welcome, Paul Konikowski. It's been a minute since you joined us. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to see both of you.
Good to see you. So I bullied you at InfoComm, and I said, hey, Paul, you should write an article soon. And you did. And I just posted that this week, and it is on like the cyber trust mark. So before we kind of get into it, you wrote at the beginning that like there's kind of 2 camps in terms of like how people view cybersecurity. So there's the people who are like, hell yeah, regulation, we love it. And then there's the other people who are like, just leave them alone. The people who are not cyber secure will mess themselves up and go away. Which camp are you in?
I am in the regulation camp.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
because
do
of,
you? Yeah,
a lot of it is because of safety. Really, it's not just about making money when it comes to cybersecurity. It's about protecting, ourselves.
Yeah, you kind of compared it to a pizza shop. So when there are 2 pizza shops, maybe one is better than the other one, so the other one will just go away. Okay, whatever. It's like they're the people suffering. But with cybersecurity, the customers are the people who are suffering when that doesn't go right. Do you feel like still that like security is often traded for convenience in AV installations today?
Yes, I do, because there's always been a trade-off for security and convenience just in general. Think about our MFAs. When you log into somewhere, that's sort of a pain, and I gotta reset my password again. Why do I have to keep changing my password? So it's naturally an inconvenience. And I think as AV folks, our selling point is, look how easy this is gonna be. All you have to do is push this button, the screen will come down, the projector turns on, the shades close, and you're good to go. So it's in our nature to make things easy on the client. And it's also, unfortunately, in our nature to get things up and running and then kind of walk away. There's this point where things start working and everyone kind of puts their hands up and says, okay, it's working, we're good. And then, they write the manual, or they do the training, or they do the documentation on it. And it's rarely thought of like, well, how am I going to break this? How's this going to go wrong?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so the cyber trust mark was designed with the consumer, and IoT in mind, obviously. But you argue that it'll inevitably influence the ProAV market. What specific technologies or product categories do you anticipate being impacted first? And where are we with that? And how will the integrators respond to it? And what should they do?
So the Cyber Trust Mark right now is really targeting consumer and wireless devices. That's where it's beginning. But there's a lot of talk about network switches, and that's what they're looking at next, because inherently that's where a lot of the traffic could be regulated or stopped, bad traffic using access control list or other things within the network switch, is how we could detect or prevent, bad traffic. So there's talk about putting a regulation out for consumer switches that's being studied right now.
Like for your home, is that what you mean, for the home?
For your home.
A wireless device in our industry would be like a click share, or something like. Is that even being looked at? Is Barco even considering this? Is this something we need to worry about?
I don't know. I can't speak for Barco. I could try to find out. But I would say that right now it's like a voluntary mark. So it's not something that they have to do, but it might be in their best interest to get this cyber trust mark put on their devices. And my thought on AV is that AV is sort of half consumer and and half IT. Like we're most of the stuff we do is either a bit of consumer electronics and IT kind of smushed together, except for large format. I went and saw Beck concert last night, and of course those kind of screens and those kinds of systems, that's not consumer, right?
Yeah.
I can say large format is pro, right? But a lot of the conference rooms stuff, we're all probably on you guys might not be, but many of us are probably on a home computer or using a device that I can buy on Amazon. And so, there's that prosumer term that's been tossed around.
Totally.
I'm sure you can think of rooms that you've seen where the network switch is something you could buy as a consumer. So there's enough crossover there in my mind that you got folks like Jabra, you got other people that are more consumer minded, because everyone's now working from home, or a lot of us are. So there's a natural crossover there, at least on the small scale,
Yeah.
And so I can see that happening, and I can see certain companies, just like Energy Star, putting out a policy saying we're going to prefer that.
Absolutely.
We want something more secure, and people tend to like a little bit of a label when it comes to products. For example, TAA compliance.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard, that's a buzzword right now in the security and AV space.
Absolutely.
Especially with government. So I think it's going to evolve. It's probably going to take some time. I like the Barco question, Gary, because that's a good example of wireless, device that we might see it come on first.
Absolutely. So you also mentioned in your piece this California law, SB 327, which requires anyone who's manufacturing an internet connected device to set a unique password for it, or force users to change the password before they can use it, which is pretty monumental. And now we have these new federal mandates like the executive order you also mentioned in your piece. Do you expect some similar industry-wide shifts happening? I know you said it was going to take time, but do you foresee some changes or challenges here in enforcement and compliance?
I do. I think we're moving that way. The California law took effect in 2020, and some manufacturers were faster to adopt it than others. But what happens is California tends to regulate things earlier than the other states, just by their nature. And so I wouldn't doubt if certain states start adopting similar policies about switches or pushing for certain regulation. There really does need to be a national. One of our problems is that, we are state by state in terms of cybersecurity regulations, like laws even change state by state. So there really probably should be more of a national push for cybersecurity. And that's what I like about these executive orders, is it's coming from above, but it's hitting consumer.
Yeah.
And so, just like Energy Star, we're going to start seeing that on devices. A lot of our clients, for instance, buy a television, it's common purchase, right? And then what happens is they say, oh, I really like my, XYZ TV. I want that in my office.
Right.
Too. And so
that actually brings up a good point, because you do find in signage applications a lot of cases where Samsung smart TVs are used, or Sony smart TVs are used, that are consumer-based products, because they're not 24/7, right? If you're 24/7, you got to look for a different product. But if you're only going to use it a few hours a day for a conference room, a lot of that, and those are, first thing that happens when you turn those on is actually connect to the Wi-Fi, right? And a lot of times you're not even using that functionality, but you just do it naturally, so that you have access to it. And a lot of times the integrator's not even supporting it. You mentioned the national, you mentioned that top down is the way it probably needs to go. You do have both Biden and Trump administrations that were behind the cyber trust mark, apparently, which is quite unusual to have, both administrations, support something, obviously. But, are we seeing progress for it to happen nationally? And is the AV industry even part of this? Like, do we have representatives, or are we lobbying Congress? I mean, are we part of this at all? Or is this just something that we are just discussing here on rAVe TV that no one else is really talking about?
Well, we're leading the industry conversation, I think, right now on webinars like this. Between the two administrations, there has been a lot of, executive orders, let's just say, and oftentimes one executive order will cancel out another one. In this case, the current administration canceled out some of the old order, but kept the cyber mark. It also kept encryption, end-to-end encryption, which, if you remember, was a big deal with Zoom during the pandemic. That was a big, they were talking about end-to-end encryption. So I think it's one of those bipartisan things that it's hard to say we don't need better cybersecurity, considering how many breaches happen, and on the government level, people overseas stealing our military secrets and stuff like that. So I think there is a bipartisan push to do it. I don't know who from our industry is involved. I can say historically, I think you guys know Josh Srago has been following a lot of that end of the spectrum, and he covered the spectrum battles, and Shure was on the front lines of that.
Yeah.
And so, that's one of those ones that crosses over between consumer and professional. I could see them, being involved again, but most likely it's networking folks, Netgear, maybe something. I would encourage them to be more involved. People that have, lawyers, and I don't know about lobbyists. It's a good question, but I imagine what's funny is, you talked about YouTube hits and things like that. I mean, if people are using AI now to research this stuff, they could come across this podcast.
Absolutely.
Or one of our articles. And, I take pride in having the conversations. I'm glad they're happening more and more. And I feel like we're a little late to the game, but we can't all freak out at the same time.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, being late to the game was kind of the next thing I wanted to talk to you about, because we're a technology industry, but we do have the tendency to lag behind a little bit when it comes to things like adopting anything new, including standards. So with the cyber trust mark, it's kind of, it's set to become this requirement for these vendors by 2027. With us, it's probably not going to happen, that quickly, but are we going to have to scramble to catch up? Do you think it's going to be like a slow burn? Like, how do you see that going?
I see it coming from the client side, because that's what I've seen it happen in previous. So a large scale client, a big corporate client, starting to insist on things like that, or larger consultants, they often drive adoption of new products.
Yeah.
And so I see it coming from a CTO of a major corporation, and then that trickling down and getting back to a manufacturer saying, oh, we got to do this.
Yeah.
I have not seen it. I work with government and military now. We have not seen much talk about cyber trust yet. There's a lot of talk about cybersecurity, but they inherently don't use a lot of wireless in government. They tend to avoid that. But there is, research, and there are cases where they do. Those tend not to be consumer level. They tend to have their own security standards. But so I don't see it necessarily coming from that client. Necessarily, I see it coming from a corporate client who, again, someone sees it and reads about it in a magazine and says, similar to Energy Star or LEED a few years ago. LEED was a big thing when they're building a building. The sustainability efforts, people want that label, and they kind of get hooked on it. And so I see it coming from that. But we're still probably, it's 2025, we're probably still a few years out until it starts taking some teeth. I kind of wish there was a more of an initiative within our industry to say, let's get together and have a security mark of our own. But like a lot of our industry, we can't seem to pull that group together because there's no money involved in that initiative. We're driven a lot by money. So we're going to follow consumer, and we're going to follow, bigger clients. We're part of IT, and it's going to probably follow IT, really. So
that I can totally see.
Yeah. Well, Paul's been writing about cybersecurity in our publications for a few years, and we do have a security newsletter called rAVe Security. You can go on our website at ravepubs.com right now and subscribe to it. Just click on the subscribe button. Paul, thank you very much for joining us today. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, talk to you soon.
He mentioned Shure as one of the companies that has an interest in all of this. And here's a message from Shure talking about their solution specifically for Microsoft Teams rooms, which is kind of the dominant platform right now. So check it out.
Strong partnerships create exceptional experiences. Shure's flexible solutions provide extraordinary audio for all kinds of Microsoft Teams rooms, empowering everyone to be seen, heard, and recognized with quality audio that enhances AI tools, making it easy to know who is talking in a meeting. The standards of meetings have greatly evolved, which is why pairing clear and precise audio with a strong AI productivity tool like Microsoft 365 Copilot helps to accurately capture meeting content, generate summaries, plan next steps, and clear reports. But the very first step to getting it right is crystal clear audio, no matter the circumstances. Shure's innovation and world-class engineering continually adapts and anticipates customer needs in acoustically challenging spaces. Shure microphone array and DSP technology ignores non-speech sounds and even eliminates extraneous speech outside of the target area, enhancing the hybrid experience, delivering a better overall meeting experience and assisting with transcription accuracy. Shure solutions are expertly designed to provide effortless experiences with significantly reduced setup time and are supported by software monitoring, licensing, and provisioning. Shure delivers a complete ecosystem that brings certified quality devices to Microsoft Teams Rooms collaboration spaces. High-quality conferencing creates seamless and immersive meetings, keeping participants motivated and enhancing productivity for better decision-making and meaningful work. Shure and Microsoft provide innovative solutions for today's conferencing requirements. True understanding starts with extraordinary communication. Shure, sound extraordinary.
All right. So one cool thing that happened earlier this week was Steph had a chance to sit down with Dan Smith of Almo ProAV.
Mm-hmm.
The big news from Almo ProAV's parent company is that they sold the UK and Ireland division of Exertis AV, which is the AV division over in the UK and Ireland. But they have not done anything with the US division. Everything is the same. And basically, this is a clip from that interview you did, Steph, with Dan Smith. So check this out.
So kind of summarizing what you said, this decision is mainly impacting the IT side of DCC's operations in Europe. So just confirming here that the North American ProAV business, including Almo ProAV, is going to be largely unaffected.
Yeah, I would say unaffected entirely. There are no organizational changes or no other changes associated in any of our 16 North American businesses, other than after we divest the IT-focused businesses, we'll have more capital, more flexibility, a more homogeneous business, so that we'll be able to move more quickly. And when I'm talking about more quickly, we started working with the consultants a year ago, just over a year ago, 13 months ago, to redesign our digital and operational functions to make us much more efficient, because the 16 businesses in North America used to operate fairly independent, and we're bringing them all together right now. So with a more homogeneous group, we will be able to move faster.
All right, so let's talk about the next story we have. This is from iPro, and they integrated a body-worn camera with Video Insight (VMS) for K through 12 school security. We have a very security-focused rAVe TV today. So this education-focused integration, what it does is it now Video Insight offers native support for BWC 4000 devices. So it allows K through 12 schools to live stream, capture, manage, review body-worn video and audio through this single secure platform. So basically, this is going to be just kind of helping schools be a little bit more secure in terms of coming up with footage from body-worn cameras. They're uploaded directly to this Video Insight, and then this footage is never stored on your personal device, and it protects student privacy. So, yeah.
Excellent. All right. A lot of other little news stories coming up today.
Yeah.
NDI launched an online certification program specifically for ProAV market, which is significant because they came from the broadcast side. NDI is sort of that universal protocol, but also used for streaming video. Not in real time yet, but pretty close. So if you want to understand NDI, you should take this course. Steph, that's a course maybe you ought to look at taking. I think you probably might enjoy it. It might give us a chance to do a review of the course.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is all online, so you might want to consider it and then let people know what you think of the class.
I think I need to start doing more like industry certs and courses to kind of like tell.
I mean, you learn. I mean, obviously all these are product and company focused, but you do learn stuff, you know?
Yeah. Like Brad and I have talked about me doing Crestron's, working certification. Crestron has a certification that I wanted to get as well. Yeah. Why not? I'm here to learn, Yeah,
exactly.
So Midwich, they are going to distribute Audinate's Dante services and hardware, which is, that's pretty cool. So basically what this means is Midwich is going to offer access to Audinate's Dante technology through its Midwich Plus technical services team. So this includes Dante's adapters, software licenses, such as Dante's Domain Manager, and a few of their other versions of that. So, I think that is going to be exciting and useful.
All right, so Green Hippo is shipping the Tika, which is the small version of the media server. It's a 1U media server. It's great for in-house production. It's great for management of content throughout an entire facility. It's great for even smaller live events and things like that. It still has 10-bit video playback. It's still SMPTE 2110 certified, so it works with IPMX. Which means it's AV over IP, but it's just smaller. It's just a smaller media server. You can loop them together, but you are getting multiple 4K output streams. So it is pretty substantial. You're seeing, Steph, the crossover between the media server market and events and the media server market of digital signage is a good
Absolutely.
example. Yeah.
Absolutely. We're seeing a lot of that right now.
Yeah.
So Bond and Infratech, they combined to debut this Infratech smart wall switch and smart wall dimmer. So this is like, for the home market. So basically this has Smart by Bond. It's built-in Wi-Fi technology. These are kind of bringing smart control to these Infratech systems. So it's got native integration, obviously, with Bond in their platform, which includes like motorized pergolas, awnings, shutters, etc., privacy screens. And so now that communicates via Wi-Fi to the Bond home app.
Very cool. And before we get into the live event we got coming up, I want to congratulate Nancy Knowlton of rAVe. Just today, it was announced that she won the King Charles Coronation Medal,
That's awesome.
which is a gigantic deal.
Yeah.
But, she's the founder of rAVe and the founder of Smart Technologies. That story will be posted today. I just wrote it up this morning before we went live, but I wanted to at least congratulate her. I've become friends with Nancy over the years, just having been in the market so long, both of us having been in the market so long, basically started the same year, honestly, in the industry. Co-founder of Smart, co-founder of rAVe, innovator, pioneer. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Congratulations to her and to rAVe in general for doing the right thing so that she could earn an award like this. So we don't have a lot of people that get awards from King Charles. Steph, so got to point that out. I just thought it'd be kind of cool to talk about that.
It's an incredible honor. So congratulations to Nancy, and she's absolutely great. One of the people that we could all learn a lot from in the industry. So yeah. Like Gary mentioned earlier, the last thing we wanted to leave you people with was an upcoming virtual event, rAVe, powered by Launch. It is our 2025 ProAV Symposium. It is August 13th at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're expecting it to last a couple hours. Have about 4 panels that we are preparing. It is sponsored by Lightwear and ADI Snap One. So we are so very excited to have them involved with us. We can't wait for you guys to come. I'm having a really good time planning the panels for it. So working on the CTS certifications for it, but prepare to have those too. And we hope you guys register.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone, today. Steph, thanks for putting together the lineup. And Jeff, thanks for producing. Everyone, have a great day.
It's the weekly show about ProAV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary.